Hello everyone. For those of you who are bad at names, my name is Muncho, and I'm from Nizam School. And I will present what we have done with regard to our learning and creativity plan, AI in STEAME. So basically, it is for students from grades 9 to 12, and now I will cover all of the activities briefly because I think that we're all discussing much. So, how is the learning facilitated and who are the main facilitators? That's obviously the teachers. And then because we're talking about STEAME and including AI in STEAME, we need all types of teachers, really. So this is a interdisciplinary learning and creativity plan. We need an ICT teacher, which will be dealing with the technology part, with the machine learning, with the overall computer literacy of the other teachers as well as the students. We need a science teacher, a philosophy or art teacher, math and entrepreneurship teacher, all of which play some role in the whole learning process. The teachers must prepare a work plan for the learning activities, and this includes all of the teachers that are participating, because, as I said, all of them have a major role in developing some sort of activity throughout the process. And this is, of course, done by researching, finding out information.
We must see. Oh, it's okay. It's
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, so information gathered from different sources, and once again, this is done by all of the teachers. So I cannot put an emphasis more on the fact that it's actually really important for all of the teachers to collaborate together, because otherwise, if it's just one of the teachers, it wouldn't be executed well. Of course, what needs to be done and discussed are the assessment and self-assessment criteria for the students, for the teachers, as well as the evaluation criteria. Some resources that can be used for the teachers to execute the learning and creativity plan properly are obviously Microsoft PowerPoint for covering for creating presentations that are easy to look at and understand. Also DALI 2, I think that you're all familiar with these platforms that are listed here. And for those of you who maybe don't know what DALI 2 is, even though I'm pretty sure you know, it's an image generator. And these 4 images below are all generated from DALI 2 with the prompt students learning the basics of AI. What will the students be doing? As we know, the students are all about activities. They get bored easily, so you need to catch their attention with something. If you don't do that, they will get bored, even if you're talking about something as interesting as AI and something as ubiquitous as it is nowadays. So what are the activities? The first activities are the boring ones. So the ICT teacher needs to get the students familiarized with the concepts of supervised learning, for example, machine learning in general, regression and classification problems, the 2 main problems in that case, and how to solve them potentially, and examples. And here I've listed some resources that might be useful in the form of videos, but of course the examples should be with code, and that code doesn't have to be written by the ICT teacher. Of course, it might be from online sources. There are numerous, an indefinite amount basically online. The second activity is where students start engaging with one another, and this is where they are divided into teams. So the length of this is about 40 minutes. They're divided into teams where each student from each individual team gets assigned some subject from the STEAME areas. Math students, the math team, we get a whole team of mathematicians. The math team will study the mathematics behind AI. And of course, this could be done online. It could be the ICT teacher and the math teacher might help with that. We know that the math in AI, it includes basic linear algebra, it includes statistics. So all of these concepts, the math team gets familiarized with. Then the other team, the tech team, is tasked with linking the maths to the AI itself, to specific problems. The science, business, and engineering teams. So once again, I'm saying that these teams are made up of entirely of scientists, businessmen, businesswomen, engineering people who do the engineering part. So they need to find AI applications in their respective fields, in, let's say, science, medicine, business intelligence, for example, and when we talk about engineering, it could be about autonomous vehicles. But they're gathering information from and examples from all the resources that they can find. And the art team is the one that studies how DALI 2 works. And honestly, because the thing that concerns AI the most when we talk about art, that's the ethics, probably, the ethics question about it. This is the team that will probably be generating images and looking at the particular data sets that the model was trained on, for example, to see and discuss whether this is ethical. The whole process of training a model is ethical in that case. Then each team basically creates presentations, and it could be for explaining the roles of AI in their respective fields, providing examples, referencing sources, and making conclusions about the future in AI in each respective field. And obviously, the aims are pretty simple. Something very important is that they collaborate, they work together on a specific topic. Could be maths, could be some of the other STEAME subjects. They bond through teamwork, and they learn how to process and reference information. And of course, they build up with a hands-on approach on the theoretical knowledge that they gained from the ICT teacher to begin with. Then they do their first presentation. And this is important because in this particular activity, students teach students. All of the teams gather, like we have gathered today, and each team presents their thing, what they researched. So innovative presenting techniques are definitely encouraged. In this case, maybe a PowerPoint presentation is not the best way to do that. So innovative presentation techniques are really, really encouraged, and I think that they are the ones, these techniques are the ones that will keep the attention of all the students. Because it's hard, for example, if for the team of artists, if they're all students who are inclined to doing art, maybe they will get bored by the maths part. So there needs to be some sort of innovative practice there, which will be advised, they might get advice from their teachers. And here we think that the more practical topics should come first before the theoretical ones. So for example, we might start with art before maths, and this is just to, once again, to make them engaged, to keep them inside the room, and to make them think about all of the stuff that gets backed up later by the tech and math teams. Questions must be asked, as always. And if there are no questions from the students, then the teacher should ask the questions so that there is a discussion and so that the activities produces something. Then the next thing that is done is an art debate, actually. It's not exactly an art debate, but it's more of an ethics debate. But it deals with the art team. The art team is the team that's responsible for that. So the art team divides into two smaller groups, and the students debate on topics regarding ethics in art creation using AI. And some topics you can see here are AI art is still art. There's also an AI could be called an artist. AI artists are racist. Deep fakes, I'm sure you're familiar with the concept, should be banned, and so on. But of course, these could be, tomorrow we might brainstorm on other topics as well. And students that are not in the art team are urged to participate in the final round of the debate, which is a discussion. Once again, an open discussion, which might get heated, but it doesn't matter, honestly, as long as they're engaged, as long as it keeps them interested. A heated argument or a discussion is not a problem, as long as they keep it civil, of course. Okay, so then we move on to the STEAME coding tasks. Now, this is where we get to have a tornado. When you're in a room of people, as we are here right now, all of the teams stay with with the members of their team, right? Look around you and you will see that this is the truth. So this is what's going to happen here as well. The teams will stick with themselves while presenting and so on. This is where we do a tornado. We form new teams, and from the previously consisting teams, we disassemble them and we assemble new with a member from each previous team inside the new team. So in each new team, we get a mathematician, a scientist, an artist, and so on. And now they're tasked with a coding task, basically. They need to present how AI can be useful in STEAM areas, this time with a code, using a Kaggle data set, for example, or using pre-made code. Doesn't really matter, as long as they can explain what lies behind the code. So basically, that's this activity. Then they have some time to process the whole thing. They have time to either look at the code that they found and try to understand what lies behind it, how it is executed, what are the driving forces in the code, basically. Or if they're ambitious enough, they can write their own code in these three classes. Then we have a meeting with the expert session, which is not mandatory, but it is really helpful for students. And this can be done with various different companies. It really depends on who you're able to find, I guess, and who's willing to help. This will give a perspective to the students based on what they have already created, whether what they created and whether what they understood actually is in line with reality and how AI really works. And finally, we have time for an assessment where we present the results. So here we have the final presentations, potentially with everything that they want to say, with everything they want to present with the final teams. Self-assessment, the team assessment, and the teacher assessment for everyone. And basically, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think you're all hungry, probably. So that's why you cannot think of any questions. Yeah.
I think that really concerning the assessment, what I find challenging is that if we could provide some ideas, starting points, so that really the students just have a broad idea of what is going to follow, because if we just leave them like that, okay, assessment is not really possible for the majority of them. So can we include at the beginning some ideas of what they should observe? This is certainly should not be restricted, but just helping them in order to catch main ideas that are going to follow.
Yeah, well, I think that this is where this is the role of the teachers. That's why it's not included in the slides. They should get reference points, of course, in the beginning when the whole thing is explained to them. There should be certain criteria to follow, and this is the job of all the teachers that are listed in the beginning. So it's going to be a team effort for the teachers as well. So this requires a good team that can work together well in order to provide the students with proper reference points that they can start from and build up from there. So I agree that this needs to be done.
One of the activities that they would make for presentation.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
One of the activities that they would make for presentation.
You mean whether the assessment is going to be on the final presentation or what?
this is STEAME activity.
Yeah. Yeah.
The project they present.
Mm-hmm.
So the assessment would be assessment of the presentation.
Of all the components. Of all the components, not just the content. I think that it should be, it's a final assessment, but the assessment should be done, this is the final one, but it needs to be done throughout the project by the teachers. The evaluation, let's say. I haven't done it because I think that we try to create a flexible learning and creativity plan. This is applicable for all schools, I think, because it doesn't include a lot of coding. It doesn't necessarily need really talented students in some particular area in order to be able to work. So this is the reason why it looks limited in terms of things that you see, so that it is flexible and can be used no matter what the school is. So based on what I'm saying, I think that the assessment criteria might differ. To be honest, no, I didn't, but it's a good idea. Mm-hmm.
For me, it would be a good exercise really to understand
Yeah. We can do that tomorrow.
Presentation of any project work could be used for covering the majority of assessment. Communications business included, economics included, the solution, the economics included, the methodology they use is included, the teamwork, who was the leader, who was the collaboration in the team. There are so many things you want to consider. I wonder if assessment is the best word to be used in the future. You must share here the word assessment. Feedback is software.
Yeah, probably.
Something else, I don't know. We have to really invent new words for new generation. New generation doesn't like the word test. They don't like the word exam. They don't like the word education. They don't like the word assessment. So we have to ask them what they like.
Yes.
And adapt to them.
We have to rebuild the system.
And we have to.
Yeah.
You cannot impose to them that we want to give them something they don't like. This is it.
You're right. I think debate is going to be a debate. Debate is something that we
Yeah. I have personally conducted several debates at school, actually, and the students really enjoy that. And for the activity tomorrow, the activities tomorrow, the ones that are prepared for the training of the teachers, I actually prepared some examples of rubrics of criteria for a debate and so on, which I think is really helpful in this particular learning and creativity plan.